I can't help it. I'm a fan of these old black and white movies, especially the sci-fi horror ones. And The Brain That Wouldn't Die from 1962 is one of the more inventive concepts, I guess. Not the craziest, but still. I'd say that this is, well, let's just get it out of the way. The synopsis is there's this doctor who's trying to work on a means of organ transplant, and he's getting really far in his experiments. But as he had rushed to his laboratory, he had a crash and it decapitated his fiancée. In order to save her, he had created a rig and is keeping her alive with some kind of chemical he created in order to help with the process of keeping flesh animated or preserved, something like that. And now she is very much alive in a lasagna pan, and she is not very happy about her situation. The the car crash scene is probably the worst part of this movie as far as being convincing. It was it was pretty bad. Oh God. Uh, um. Yeah. This is kind of a conflicting thing for me because I like the idea that someone's head is being kept alive and the horror of just being held in place, being unable to move, and you've essentially got no body from here down. And you'd be kept alive though you'd rather be dead. And I can't blame her for feeling like that. Because let's be perfectly honest, that's pretty damn gruesome. And this story is one of the more dark and twisted ones that I've seen in the 60s in terms of sci-fi horror, because normally they're a bit more comical in what they do and not quite this, well, it's, I don't want to use the same term again, but gruesome is a very fitting term. And the body horror aspect of this is fairly strong. Even though it's simple, it's still effective. The major problem I have with this is that instead of being more of a character driven piece, which it should have been because there's some great dialogue here between the fiance and the man that's assisting her soon to be husband, or was soon to be. And I think I would have liked it far better if they had been focusing on that and had made it more about her struggle in her situation and her vengeance that she feels towards her soon to be husband. Her significant other. I was trying to look for another term for that. I I feel that this had held back because it spent too much time looking for a replacement body for this woman. But then again, part of the story gets pretty dark towards the end because of who is eventually selected and why. But also how they're lured to this house. It's pretty fucked up, to be honest, and I kind of love it for that. It's just it didn't stay consistent with that. But I suppose if it did, it would have been really bad. Because at the time, people didn't really like that sort of thing. And there were some people that lost their careers because they had really tried to be ambitious with being gruesome, being not so politically correct. I mean, was it Todd Browning? Or Todd... Yeah, I think it was Todd Browning. He did Frankenstein, and when he did Freaks, his career was basically over. despite how despite how important he is to horror, Freaks was essentially the death note for his career. And it's really a shame, but directors had to hold back because they were afraid of losing everything they had worked for simply because the audience wasn't ready to see that yet, even if it's a great film. This this is probably a product of its time, and that's part of what's harming it. Because honestly, if someone wanted to remake this, they could do some really good stuff with it. It's just a shame that they couldn't go all the way with it. But for my part, I'd say this is a 6.5 out of 10. It doesn't do anything for the 31-day challenge, but I still enjoyed watching it, so I hope you get a chance to see it too. And I will see you in the next one.